I'm Rachel McDowell, and these are my note cards for my persuasive action speech. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me for my speech today. I would like to talk to you about donating blood. I would really appreciate it if you could just envision a world with me that does not have any donations of blood. I was sitting down at my desk thinking about what can I do my speech on? What's something that's so important to every single one of us? And it occurred to me that every one of us need our own renewable resource of blood. And there are many, many times due to accidents, sickness, anything, to where we or our loved ones or total strangers are going to need blood to live. It's something that is so crucial to our world today that without it, millions of people could die. It's so important that we need to just take a minute to look past all the different negatives about giving blood. I know there are a lot of reasons why people do and why people don't. And then we will go through some of the requirements for donating blood in my speech, but I think the most important requirement is that it's just the right thing to do. So first of all, excuse me, why do you donate blood? Well, we all have our own reasons, but according to the American Red Cross, the three major reasons why somebody would donate blood is because they had been asked by a friend to do so, or they had a family member who needed blood, and so they decided to go and donate, or they just believe that it's the right thing to do. Now, excuse me, fortunately, in my life, I've not had too many family members, loved ones, or close friends who have needed a readily supply of blood in order to save their lives. I've just been very blessed. But I do know that if someone that I loved and cared for, or just knew as an acquaintance, life was hanging in the balance based on not being able to get a blood donation, that I would pray to God that it would become readily available. So I would hope that each and every one of us, after hearing this speech, would be willing to go donate blood so that we could save somebody's life. So first of all, who can donate blood? Well, there are a few criteria that you have to meet. First thing you have to be is healthy. Now they break it down a little bit for you. In order for you to donate blood, you must be healthy, you have to feel well, you have to be able to perform your daily activities, and if you have a chronic illness that's not blood related, it has to be under treatment and well controlled. The second thing you have to be is at least 17 years old, or you can be 16 in some states with parental permission to donate blood. The third thing you must be is to weigh at least 110 pounds. If you do not weigh at least 110 pounds, donating blood and giving up an entire pint can be hard on your body. It's something that they do not recommend doing ever. There are a few different types of blood that you can give, and I did not realize this until I started looking into it more. But you can give blood, which is just putting the IV in your arm, sucking it out, donating it to somebody. And you can do that every 56 days, which surprised me. I had no idea. But it gives your body time to recuperate the lost blood and create more. I mean, what's more magnificent than our body being able to create more blood, an endless supply for ourselves and anybody who needs it? It's just nothing short of a miracle of God. The second thing that you can donate are platelets, which are in your blood, and you can do this up to every 7 days, up to 24 times a year, which is amazing to me. And that's just taking the platelets out of the blood itself. The third thing that you can donate is plasma. You can do that every 28 days, 13 times a year. So there are lots of different ways that we can help, and there's a lot of different frequencies that we can go by. Now, everybody gets a little nervous when you talk about donating blood. I personally don't have any problems health-wise donating blood. I'm not afraid of needles. I don't get lightheaded. I don't pass out. It doesn't gross me out, the sight of blood. But you hear all these excuses. When I'm talking to people that I know, they say, oh my gosh, I can't give blood because it makes me so sick. I have to lay down for hours afterwards. Or you hear people say, I can't stand those needles. Or the last time I was at the doctor's office and that nurse drew my blood, I ended up with bruises. And there's all kinds of reasons why they don't want to do it. Here's what I say to that. Suck it up. I mean, if you think about what you're doing in the course of a little bit of discomfort, the effect that you can have on those around you, in your local community, in your national community, I mean, it's amazing what you can do with just a pint of blood. According to American Blood Centers, they do some safety testing. Okay, so first of all, I can't drag my husband kicking and screaming to donate his blood. They take only volunteers. It's strict volunteer basis. They don't go out and look for volunteers actively. They don't say, will you donate, will you donate, will you donate, but they make their names known, like of course with the blood drives. They advertise where it's going to be, when it's going to be. They make the hours of operation readily available for people who are working all shifts, and they can be there anytime for you. You can also just go into a blood center and donate blood as well. Another thing that they do when you go in to donate blood, show of hands. Has anybody here donated blood? How exciting! We've got one person to change their mind on. So you all know that when you go to donate blood, you have to fill out a questionnaire, and they basically do, it's like a mini health exam on you. They take your blood pressure, they ask you all your history questions and things that need to be done. They do provide information on high-risk behaviors, things that might interfere with being able to give blood. Another thing that they do as far as safety certification goes is that they test each donation of blood for infectious diseases, such as hepatitis A, B, C. They test for HIV and AIDS. If your blood comes up negative, or positive for any of these items, it's immediately discarded and it is thrown out. And you will also get a card in the mail that says you can no longer be a donor. It lists what's going on so that you can go to the doctor and take care of your own health. I do know that at times there are some false negatives or false positives on these tests. I received that myself once. I donated blood. I got a letter in the mail, said they threw my blood out. I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on. So I went to the doctor and I had antibodies in my system as opposed to an actual illness, and they just didn't take any chances, so they threw my blood out. So, went back, donated blood again, and it was just fine. There are a couple more types of information I'd like to give you. There are blood types, according to the University of Utah, A, B, AB, and O. Now there are some RH factors, and that gets a little more difficult, but I'm going to keep it simple for you. 40% of the population of the world is O positive blood. It is the universal donor. Is anybody here O positive? Or excuse me, just O? Anybody know? I'm not. I'm an A positive. But if you are an O blood type, you are basically a gift from above. Any blood type needed, they can take yours. And it has something to do with the proteins that are in your body. It doesn't reject it, it will accept it. I also learned that AB blood type, which has both proteins of A and B, are able to be a universal acceptance, universal acceptance. They can take any of those blood types as well. So, I know that's a lot of information in a short amount of time, but if you have any questions, there is so much information out there on donating blood, and I'm sure that there would be many people who would be happy to give you more facts at the blood centers. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your audience.